Hello, witches. I am High Priestess Artefinus. Most of you know that I used to be a devout follower of Jesus Christ, but there's something else that you need to consider. Who do you contact when someone you know is murdered? Most of you would say, call the police if you know someone that was murdered. Call the police. But as a Christian, I can tell you that you are also to contact the pastor, the priest, the minister, the first lady, the deacon of the nearest church in which the crime was committed. Why? I'll tell you why. In the 1970s, my father's brother, my uncle, was murdered here in New York. The murder remained unsolved for 2 years until a pastor of a church in the neighborhood where his brother was killed came to his house and told him, "Hey, I know who killed your brother." And my father was like, "So you're a pastor? Somebody came to you and confessed to killing my brother, and you knew all this time? You knew I was looking for this murderer, and you never said anything?" And a priest said, "Well, we're Catholic, so, people can come to us and confess crimes, and we are obligated to not go to law enforcement." Yeah, okay, but someone was murdered, though. You being a Christian, you being a Catholic, you knew who the murderer was, and you chose to say nothing. You chose to have this murder go with no justice for 2 years. Eventually, his brother's murderer was caught, sent to jail for life, and was killed in jail by another inmate. Oh, yes, of course, you should call the police if somebody you know is murdered, but also contact the nearest pastor in that neighborhood, because most likely they know who the murderer is. But because they are so devoted to their Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, they will not say anything about it, because they believe that the murderer has confessed his or her sin, or that he or she has repented. No, this person is a murderer. This was my father's brother, first time in New York, and he gets a bullet in his head. And it went unsolved for 2 years until that pastor came to his doorstep and said, "Hey, I know who did this." And of course, the police did not do anything about it, even though the police should have arrested the pastor to be a accessory to murder after the fact, meaning that he knew who the murderer was, but chose. It was a conscious decision to not say anything about it. So this is something that a lot of people don't know. Of course, you should go to the police, but you should also contact the church, because most likely the church is harboring this criminal, know who this criminal is, know that this criminal probably has multiple murders, probably knows this murderer is actually a serial killer, but because they are so devoted to their Lord and Savior, they will not go to law enforcement. Oh, yes, I'm telling you. 2 years. 2 years, and his consciousness got the better of him, so he wanted to confess his sins and stupidly believed that my father was going to be all cool in the game with it, be okay with it. No, my father was furious. Somebody killed my brother. You knew who it was, and you didn't say anything. Now you come into my face, you're in my grill, wanting forgiveness. No, you take yourself to police station and tell them what you know so we can arrest this guy. And the police arrested him. My father's brother's murderer was sent to jail and was killed in jail by another inmate in 1990. Telling you, of course, go to the police, but also go to the pastor, minister, deacon, first lady, and ask them for any information, because I'm telling you, they know a lot.